Hello and welcome to Film Explained. Today we will discuss a 2015 British zombie horror film. The Resort is a film directed by Steve Barker. There will be spoilers ahead. Keep an eye out and be cautious. A devastating epidemic known as Chroma syndrome killed 2 billion people 10 years ago. The virus claimed the lives of many people, individuals, and resurrected them, resulting in a battle between the living and the dead. When a zombie apocalypse occurs, the Brimstone Protocol, which drops bombs to wipe out the zombies, is activated. This was a cure for the entire diseased area, including the innocent individuals. In today's world, the last zombies left are imprisoned on an isolated island. A woman named Valerie's planned to turn it into a high-end retreat known as the Resort. Tourists can participate in zombie hunting as a sport. She is also the chairman of Hope For You, a refugee help group that receives funding from the resort's profits. Melanie, a PTSD patient whose father was killed in the zombie war 10 years ago, is currently on her way home from her social support group. Lewis, her fiancé, is always by her side, helping her to overcome her ordeal. They decide that going to the resort is the only way to help Melanie improve. Other guests on the day of arrival include young video gamers Jack and Alfie, as well as Sadie, whose ex-fiancé ditched her ahead to their wedding. Join the journey for the wedding as well. Melanie notices a small immigrant girl outside the airport while waiting in the lounge. She approaches the youngster and greets her, feeling sad for the refugees outside. Following that, all of the visitors board a boat to the island. When the group arrives on the island resort, they find the resort very nice and welcoming. In the afternoon, they practice shooting the targets. Melanie doesn't need a guide as her fiancé is a soldier. Valerie's, the resort's owner, throws a pool party every night. She reminds the guests of the horrors of the zombie apocalypse 10 years ago, which drove them to the resort to recover from trauma and spiritual wounds. Her speech ends by a show of a female zombie being restrained, making the crowd go nuts in excitement. Meanwhile, Sadie sneaks into the security room. By a password in the hand, she easily hacks the system and downloads some information. Archer, a quiet veteran, notices her peculiar behavior and reports it to her. The fireworks add to the enjoyment of the occasion. Melanie witnesses a female zombie being cruelly jerked and shackled in the neck the next morning while relaxing by the pool. She becomes angry for unknown reason. After that, the guests leave the hotel for the hunting and the safari. At the same time, Valerie's is angry by a careless security staff whom has let the system to lag. They hide the problem from her and try to fix it because they are afraid of losing their jobs. They eventually open the garage and drive the tourists to the hunting safari. Two groups of tourists were formed. The restrained zombies will be killed by the first group. From a safe distance, the second group will snipe at them. While everyone else is getting ready for the hunt, Archer watches Sadie walking around lazily without picking up the gun. Melanie couldn't make it despite Lewis's efforts. That's because the female zombie was staring at her. Archer amazes the others by scoring a burst more sharp headshots just after Melanie loses. Meanwhile, Valerie and the rest of the crew are still dealing with the security breach. The tour guide takes them to the camp location for relaxing at dusk. Melanie expresses her discomfort with the trip to her fiancé. Meanwhile, Archer asks Sadie about her motives for going on this trip. Valerie's is told about the hacking difficulties by the workers in the control office. While Valerie seems to be confused, many systems fail, causing the resort's security system to fall offline. The fences fall, allowing the zombies to escape. They begin to spread all across the resort, infecting both visitors and workers. Valerie's locks herself in the room as fast as she can to avoid being infected. In the meanwhile, the Brimstone was already activated. Guests on the safari outside the resort are totally unaware of what has happened. In the restricted zombie zone, the first group has completed their hunt. They are attacked by the released zombies on their way back to the car, and now they're the walking dead. The second group, on the other hand, continues to enjoy their camping night. Melanie and Sadie discuss the morals of killing zombies for the purpose of healing and entertainment. The two see a zombie approaching while chilling. Melanie quickly wakes up the rest of the group. She tells Sadie to fire the trigger towards that zombie, but for some reason, Archer turns it down instead. The tour guide, Nevins, is suspicious of the zombie's existence at such a distance. He turns around and sees an army of zombies approaching them, which scares him. The group continues to fire on the live dead without stopping. Melanie is saved from getting bitten thanks to Sadie's help. While rushing to the car, Alfie is killed. After a bit, Archer tells the group to put out the fire because the zombies have been defeated. They all gather on top of the car and spend a full night. Nevins tells them early the next morning that the entire island will be firebombed in a few hours and that their only hope is to escape to the docks. The group starts walking to the docks, following Devon's directions. When Archer takes the lead of the group on the way, Lewis gets irritated. When the group arrives to the fence, Jack is attacked. Fortunately, Nevins shoots the zombie in the head, but he also sees that the defeated zombie is Mike, one of his guiding co-workers. The group takes their turn to pass through the fence, followed by a group of the Walking Dead. Melanie is again saved by Sadie when she is attacked. Nevins is unlucky enough being bitten in the neck. While Melanie comforts him, Lewis shoots Nevins in the head, shocked and anger her. The group continues to move forward. Melanie makes the decision not to speak with Lewis. When speaking with Melanie, Archer, on the other hand, takes Lewis' side. He also reveals that the only thing he's ever been good at is killing zombies, which is why he's come to the resort. As they approach closer to the safe haven, Archer threatens Sadie with telling the truth about her being at the resort because of her suspicious behavior the night before. She admits to being a member of Living To, an anti-activist group. While Lewis and Jack start to blame Sadie for what happened, Melanie promises that she will not abandon Sadie. The group is now going through the lonely town. Because there are zombies everywhere around them, they stay inside the house. As the zombie approaches, they must divide it into two smaller groups. Melanie, Lewis, and Archer make up the rest of the group, which includes Sadie and Jack. Sadie is bitten after the zombie attack and sacrifices herself to give Jack time to escape. She gives him her USB with proof before she dies. Jack sprints all the way to the three of them. Melanie saves him in a second, rushing over the fence to block the angry dead. At 55 minutes, the time is ticking. The four of them are now entering the resort. They can't get inside since the entire region is blacked out. Lewis proposes going a different path. They enter in a dark room with a lot of cages. They then travel through an infrared chamber. A zombie falls from the ceiling and bites Jack in the neck. Archer doesn't have a choice except to kill him. The remaining three walk onto a room known as the Refuge Hall. They learn that the resort has been enticing refugees to the island via a charity front group, where they are converted into zombies. The heat room is used to help them age. Melanie immediately recognizes a girl zombie she met at the airport. The zombies in the hall start to chase the three. As Archer and Melanie hold back zombies, Lewis abandons them. Archer rushes Melanie to leave before him. Archer tells Melanie to keep Sadie's USB safe and makes sure the information would be released. He decides to open the door and give himself over to the zombie army. Melanie runs as quickly as she can. She runs into Lewis again when she enters the resort lobby. Lewis, on the other hand, is bitten in the arm. Melanie gives him the gun so he can take his own life as payback for everything he's done to her. Melanie is attacked in the control room, but Valerie saves her. Melanie accuses Valerie of being responsible for everything and begins a fight with her over the gun. Outside, the zombies break into the room and tear Valerie to pieces, one of whom is the female zombie on display. When the bombing goes off, Melanie manages to leap into the sea. She exposes all of the resort's crimes after being rescued. Melanie tells the reporters that while investigations are important, they will not solve the problem. Meanwhile, Archer sits in front of the television and watches her. When zombies attack people on the beach below, the reporter, who is on live television, is terrified. Subscribe to see more videos like this, and make sure your notifications are turned on. Thanks for watching.